Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of The TV is Our Real Mom podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Catie.
And here we are to discuss episode 12 of Survivior, Winners at War. And what'd you think, Catie?
Pretty good. A little, unfortunately, a bit of a return to the confusion of the week before last week. I'm not entirely sure what went down. We had a lot of whispering again, but they put subtitles on, so that was helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that was mentioned by the know-it-alls when they were talking about it. I don't know if it was Steven or what, but he's like, if they just put subtitles on this, it wouldn't be such a big deal, because we just want to know what's going on and what they're saying. And I was like, how did I not think of that before? That's really all it is. Add some subtitles so we know what they're talking about, and it's not so bad,
Right, and the interesting thing about actually being let in on it this time was that it seemed that most of it was smoke. It all seemed pointless. They were all just lying to each other, and it was cool that they also showed that not only are we fed up with it, Probst is fed up with it, and the players themselves that are involved in the discussions are fed up with it.
Yeah.
The jury's fed up with it, and Denise, always someone to look up to.
Yes, queen.
I wish she would have gone off on Ben, but whatever. Jeremy was still trying to talk, and Denise was done.
Yeah.
He got his revenge on her, I guess. By staying.
And I love the, when he's like, are you sure you want to do that? He's like, you're only safe tonight. Basically, I'm going to get back at you for this, for not talking to me right now. And I there was a lot of good stuff on the jury, too. When Boston Rob was like, he's like, well, he echoed what Jeremy said, right? And just kind of chuckled about it.
I see how you can get overconfident with the necklace around your neck, as we've seen from Tony the last 3 weeks. That's, I think, been a big part of why he's playing so crazy. But poor Denise, she's been on the wrong side of the vote. How many times now? How many weeks in a row?
She's kind of aligned with Kim, right? So I'm guessing she didn't vote.
Yeah, she was left out of the Tyson vote. She was left out of the Sophie vote. And now, once again, Jeremy stays.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well for her, really, but at the same time, it kind of means people are still underestimating her, and that could pay off in the long run. I mean, I feel like if she can just make it to the final tribal, all she has to do is mention what she did to Sandra. I mean,
that's it.
All this talk of resumes, I mean, that's a powerful enough thing to have one thing on your resume and win the game, pretty much.
Yeah, I'd say there's been two huge moves in the game. That one, and then last week with Tony.
Yeah, Tony's 4-3-2. I hope he doesn't forget it if he gets a chance to talk about that. I hope he's able to articulate that in the final tribal, because it was such a...
He'll articulate it.
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets there. At this point, he's like an unstoppable freight train. I don't know how you're going to stop him from getting there, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately for us.
Fortunately,
but
yeah.
I mean, if you're Denise or you're... Can we talk about how this played out? Whose side was Nick on? Because he came off like he was on Kim and Ben's side. And also, what was... Okay. I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
Okay.
Whose side was Nick on?
Nick... I have no idea. I mean,
because he was
the only thing I really got from Nick this episode that made any kind of sense, that seemed like it has any kind of meaning to it, was that he made a final 3 with Denise and Michelle. And I think that very well could be the final 3 right there.
Denise and Michelle went on opposite sides tonight. I guess Michelle didn't. She did vote for Jeremy, but she was hoping he'd save himself somehow.
Yeah, which was curious. I mean, I guess she was kind of trying to, she was basically saying, if he flips the wrong side of the coin, I can at least fall back on saying, I voted for Jeremy, I'm with you guys. So I guess I don't mind that. Cause
I guess he can't be mad at her then for writing his name down, because she theoretically saved him, but she didn't know that he already was so in with Tony that Tony told him he didn't need to use it.
Yeah, she very well could have told Jeremy, here, flip this coin, good luck. And
I'm voting for you.
I'm voting for you.
You have a habit of doing that, though. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm going to vote for... Or no, with the Parvati thing, she did not vote for Parvati. She voted for Wendell.
Well,
right?
Somebody removed their like from this video. Like,
that's okay.
So is there something wrong with the audio, or are we just that bad? Like,
they probably liked us accidentally.
Like,
I've done that.
Oh, taking it back. Not good enough. Yeah, those of you watching, feel free to throw us a question or a comment. We'll talk about it or whatever.
Or a like. We prefer you don't take it back, but I guess it's a free country.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, yeah, that I don't know where Nick was at on this vote.
Yeah, because he really seemed like he was in with the Ben and Kim side of things. But then, after the vote, he had to have voted for Kim. He was lying during the tribal council.
Yeah, because he kept saying, we're voting Jeremy to everybody, right?
Yeah, I'm not changing it, he said. But he had to, because there were only how many votes for Jeremy? 3? And it was Michelle, Kim, and Denise. Who the hell did Ben vote for Kim? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I have no idea. We'll have to go back home.
Ben looked sincerely, once again, dumbfounded after the vote. But again, that's probably just his face. But he looked kind of like lost after the vote. Like, how did this happen? Because he, for some reason, God, he's such an asshole. He just had to get Jeremy out. You know, people on Reddit, I've seen people on Reddit this week praising Ben's social game. But the fact that you will not speak to someone because you want them voted out because they might win is such a dick move, especially considering during your season, everyone wanted you out. You were that guy. Are you jealous that you are not that guy this season? Like, it's so weird. Why would you not talk to them? That is such a bad social game move.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more like he's taking it personal based on, remember how high we were on Jeremy's like looks that he was giving Ben? Well, Ben was on the receiving end of those looks, and I think he's hurt. Like, but I'm with you now. Like, Ben sucks, but
this is a social game. Like, Kim was also bamboozled, but the next day she was sitting there with Jeremy like, oh, hey, how's it going? I want to be with you. That's what you do.
Yeah, well, Kim's gone now too, so.
True, because she was more of a threat. No one's taking Ben seriously. No one is going to be worried about sitting at the end with Ben.
No, that's. I mean, I feel like we kind of called that from the beginning of the season that Ben. There was no way Ben wasn't going to the end because nobody thinks he can win from the get-go. The whole game through, no one thinks he can win. Mm-hmm. So he's not.
I don't think the jury takes him very seriously. They're always laughing at him.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about him like winning the game, but he'll probably. Well, I don't know. I feel kind of strongly that Denise, Nick, and Michelle are the final 3 now. I'm sold on that.
I mean, that could get a Denise win.
Yeah,
I don't know. Michelle and I don't know.
Which I haven't gotten a winner pick right since Cochran, so
you picked Denise.
I would love to get that.
Yeah. I don't know if she's sitting there with Nick and Michelle. I'd say Nick and Michelle have been more involved in votes that actually went their way, but there's still 7 people left, and there will be 1 more once the extinction person comes back. So.
Man, I loved the scrambling and tribal thing, again. Granted, the fact that they were subtitling the whispers, like, that was an improvement, right?
Yeah.
But I will say I don't, like, they need to stop letting them, like, get up and walk around and stuff. Like, that needs to stop.
It really does need to stop. Whisper, if you sit where you sit, that's the choice you make. You can't get up, pass it down. I don't care what you need to do, but you can't get up. And also, there was some questionable post-vote shenanigans. Wouldn't you say the whole, like, I'm going to play it for Sarah, and Sarah being like, no, don't play it. Like, that was a little, I mean, I get these are winners, and they can push the rules, I guess. It's up to Jeff to enforce them. But what did you think of that whole, like, because they were whispering after the vote.
Are you thinking that was, like, that was an act or something? Or
no, I'm thinking that's against the rules.
That's not fair? Oh, okay.
Not kosher. Even though I like the people that were doing it,
Yeah. No,
kind of sketchy.
I don't know that that's against the rules, because after the votes have been cast, you know, everything's set and you can kind of do whatever you want.
That's true.
Like, and that's interesting because nobody's ever really tried to do something like that, to like really verbally like egg people on to maybe play their advantage because you want them to, or not play it. Actually, I'm sure that has happened. I just can't remember, you know. But
it just seems like people could be like, you don't need to play it, and then they wouldn't play it. But I guess it's up to
it's still up to
whether
them.
You believe them or not.
Yeah, and that's a game move right there, you know, the deception and all that. But yeah, I was just gonna say that I loved the part when Jeff was like commentating, like he was commentating like it was a horse race or something. Yeah,
coming around the corner.
That was unexpected and really funny, and the whole jury like laughed at it too, which was.
Yeah, they're tight now ever since the hug.
Yeah. No, that jury's fun. Like, it's a fun jury to watch.
Yeah, it's like the Edge of Extinction jury, except cool.
Yeah, well, it's crazy that they're so fun when they're just dying, you know.
They look so bad. Like, they look terrible. Can we just call this off? Can we have the challenge 2 rounds early? Because those people need to go to Ponderosa.
Yeah. Do you think that's why we have a 2-hour episode next week? Is because they're gonna bring somebody back next week, or?
No, I think they're gonna get 2 more people out and then bring the person back in the finale like they did last time.
Oh yeah, same old story.
Yeah. Okay. So we still have another week to sit through of these poor people suffering. Danny looks like she's about 2 blinks from death.
Yeah, but she's just built like that too, I think, you know.
But like her skin under her eyes and stuff is like, oh god, don't they have a hat they can give her?
Yeah. Oh man.
And we can talk about that whole challenge. Like the first one with the logs with Ethan, super inspirational. And there were only 4 people there. This time, it was not inspirational. It was kind of pointless.
Yeah.
And the most interesting thing that happened was Rob cracked his elbow and then kept going.
Danny fell too.
And Danny, my favorite part was when Adam was like, how are you, like when Wendell jumped, and then Adam was like, how did you just do that?
Yeah, Adam really not cut out for that kind of challenge.
No, but he was funny.
Yeah, he was. I felt like really bad for him because, well, I was just like picturing myself in his shoes and how much that would suck to be doing that, and because I am also out of shape and that would suck.
Like, how long do I have to put up this charade? Like, can I just not do it? Because there's 12 of us here. Clearly I'm not going to be 11 of us here. I'm not going to beat people like Parvati and Tyson. Can we just not?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was wondering too, is like, did Ethan just quit at some point? Because if I was Ethan, I would have quit. I mean, you've already done the whole inspirational, you already did this once, you proved it. Like, you don't need to, you weren't going to win anyway. He wasn't going to keep up with all those guys, so I hope he quit.
It's different, but
and I'm glad they like mercifully didn't show him quit if he did, you know.
We saw that story. So it was a little more lackluster. I don't think it was quite as long as the log one as far as screen time, but it was not. Whatever. It wasn't really worth it. At least we didn't have to sit through a reward challenge too.
Yeah. So, talk to me about the spy nest.
You know, I thought we'd get more payoff from that. We didn't.
Do you think we'll get a payoff on the spy nest in a future episode, or was
this? Must, because why else? I know it's Tony content, but they're not hurting for Tony content. So like, it was either just throwing the fans a bone, or there's going to be some type of payoff next week or the week after. Because they're gonna. The more this goes on, the more the jury's saying stuff like Tony is a boss, they're gonna come for Tony.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah, I mean, for Boss and Rob to call Tony a boss in that moment, that was like special. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. Watching Rob call Tony a boss, I was like, man, that's awesome.
Passing the torch, kind of. Like, Tony Flacco's going to be the new Boss and Rob.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, it could pay off. The nest could pay off in a future episode, but also it could have for one thing, like you said, they want to give us some fan service. Like they want to show us the spy nest, but to put it into context, they used it in a scene where Sarah was talking about, like, this is a reason Tony's going to get himself voted out. Like that was how the nest played into the story. So it still worked in that sense. It could stand alone, but it could still pay off.
Showed Jeremy and someone else walking down below and him watching them.
Yeah, I mean, that was all editing, obviously. Yeah.
Misleading.
So talk to me a little more about the Ben and Jeremy. Have you fully expressed, I know you wanted to get a lot off your chest with Ben and...
This is where I get my therapy, is by bashing Ben.
Especially the Jeremy and Ben relationship. What's going on there?
I don't know. I cannot for the life of me understand how you would freeze somebody out when you're stuck on a beach with only 7 other people and you're trying to get these people eventually to vote to give you $2 million. And your genius idea is to just shut them off and not talk to them. They're not good enough to have your ear, that you will not deign to have a conversation with them. That is so arrogant, such a bad game move, and so just rude.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly not thinking with his head. He's just like playing emotionally at this point.
He's always been an extremely arrogant player, and that's why I think everyone wanted him out. I mean, one of the reasons everyone in his season wanted him out. And the only reason he was able to win is because he did flashy stuff at Tribal, and the dumb jury ate it up. So I've never been a fan of his game. I used to blame production more for what happened during his season, but it's even more blatant now that I don't think he's that good of a player. And you can't be in a final 8 of an all-winner season and treat a fellow winner like that. That's shitty.
Yeah.
But he did it to Adam, too.
Yeah, he does have a sense of entitlement about him, the way he plays. Like, he's entitled to the win. I thought it was interesting how we forgot to talk about this last week, but how the people that were mad at was it Tony that did? I'm trying to remember.
They were mad at Jeremy for not letting them vote him out.
Yeah, that's what it was. The people that were mad at Jeremy were the ones that wanted to vote him out. Like I heard that at Know-It-Alls, and when I heard that, I was like, holy shit, that's totally true. Like, how did we not notice that? Like, that's so interesting.
I said that because
you did?
Believe they were so mad.
Sorry.
Because he saved his own game. How can you be mad at someone for saving themselves? That is such an asshole. And then tonight,
right, it's the entitlement. He's like,
so mad.
The world revolves around Ben. He's entitled to the win, so that's why he's mad at Jeremy for saving himself. You were supposed to go home. You weren't supposed to save yourself. Yeah, so.
How dare you still be here? This is supposed to go my way.
This
and
is
now
my
he's
game.
even more mad because, once again, I think it didn't go his way. I'm still unclear on that, but he seemed to be confused at the end of that vote. But the thing that sucks is that he has an idol now. Except Tony caught him.
Tony knows about it. Yeah, that was really funny too when he tried to hide it, and Tony's like, "What are you doing, man? I saw that."
What are you doing? You're trying to hide it from me? No.
In the confessional, talking about all of it too, like, well, Tony, telling the story about it was hilarious too.
I really wish I could understand why everybody feels they need Ben.
I don't. Easy to beat.
Jeremy set aside his pride to sit and talk to him, and he still wouldn't have any part of it. And Tony put his hand on him.
Easy to beat at the end, I guess.
That's probably it.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I think it is.
I can't think of anything else. I don't believe they enjoy his company. I know Jeremy doesn't.
Right.
And Tony doesn't enjoy anyone's company. He's just worried. He's game all the time. So.
I remember a couple weeks ago I was saying Jeremy and Ben were tight, and you didn't.
Yeah, they were.
You didn't believe me at the time, but he said it in this episode. He's like, "Me and Ben were like this."
I believed you. I just didn't like to see it.
Oh, you didn't want to believe it. You didn't want to admit it because it's gross.
I saw that they were tight, and it bummed me out.
Yeah, I got you. But yeah, he actually said it. We were like this, but they're not anymore.
He's right.
Talk to me about Sarah's reaction to Tony in this episode.
Pretty similar. I thought it was the one time things didn't go her way and she had a meltdown. I mean, come on, people. We're winners. Can't we control it a little bit more than this?
She's got the same type of sense of entitlement, you know? It's like, this isn't your game. Not everyone's going to just do whatever you want. I know that's, like, ideal for you, but that's not how Survivor...
That's how it worked in the past.
Yeah, but that's not how Survivor works. And, you know, of all people, I can't believe you expected Tony wasn't going to make a crazy move when he had the chance. Like, are you delusional?
Yeah, I know. You've been screwed over by Tony once before. Like, how do you not know this is a possibility?
Yeah.
And now she's right back, hand in hand with him. We'll see how far that gets her.
Yeah, quite frankly, Sarah's behavior towards Tony in this episode bothered me more than Ben and Jeremy. I really didn't like the way Sarah was acting.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
No.
And
plus, everyone in the tribe could hear everything they were saying. So, like, if there was ever any question that Sarah and Tony were tight, like, everybody knows everything about their relationship now. There's, like, nowhere to hide for those two. So, like, Tony's playing from behind.
Now that Sarah and Tony are a duo, because that's why Kim wanted to go for Tony. But I don't know why they didn't try to switch the vote to Sarah if they wanted to split Tony and Sarah up.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's clear everyone's mostly concerned about Tony, but it's clear everyone understands that Sarah is his number one. And it's clear that they want one of the two out, but yet Sarah is never an option. I suppose it's because Jeremy's still there, so his name's gonna come up. And
he's just that token vote now, you know. Jeremy, we still haven't gotten him out. Let's get him out.
Which makes sense, because I mean, like, everything Ben is saying about Jeremy in that sense is totally true. Like, Jeremy is the shoe-in to win if he's just, all he has to do is be there. That's how much people like him.
What if he's sitting next to Tony?
Ooh, Tony would probably win, actually, at this point, with the game he's played. Yeah. But, yeah, Jeremy. He's unbelievable. Like,
yeah.
How is he still there?
I said to Catie, our sister, last week, I said, Jeremy's such a perfect person.
Yeah, well, like...
Probably because of what he was saying about Ben, and I really felt him in that moment, but that's how I felt.
Well, even in this episode, he has an advantage given to him by an ally that he really, by all what's the saying for that? By all intents and purposes? Intensive purposes or intense? Which one is it?
It's intense and purposes. I think that's the misquote of it.
By all intents and purposes, Jeremy should play this advantage, and he reads the room and hangs on to it. And
makes an audible grimace of pain in doing so.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he didn't play it. Like, I was shocked. And then I realized I had the wool like, I had no idea what was going on. When he didn't play it, I was like, okay, I have no idea what's happening here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just unbelievable. Jeremy is ridiculous.
He didn't play it. Yeah. I mean, he played his other advantage correctly, because, they would have voted him out if he had not played it at that tribal council. So he's doing well with those advantages. And if Michelle lets him keep it, he can play it again next week, but then that advantage is done.
Right. I kind of saw this coming with Kim, though, from the beginning of the episode. They really focused heavily on her, like, gunning for Tony, and Tony clearly wasn't going home in this episode. So who else could it possibly be? Kim became a clear, like,
they like to mix it up with the edit. Like, they phoned that in right from the beginning, so it was pretty clear Kim was in trouble. I guess I wasn't too surprised. Kind of bummed. Every week that Ben or Nick doesn't go home before someone like Jeremy and Sarah and Kim is kind of a bummer. But she made a bad decision when she dropped for the cookies.
Yeah, well, I see. For all those, not for all of them, for most of the people who did that, it was pretty clear that they were struggling to hang in there. And it is a good decision for some people at that point where you're like, I'm going to drop in the next 5 seconds anyways. I'm gonna get some cookies out of it at least. And you know, Kim might have been in that situation too, where she knew she couldn't hold out any longer, and she's like, well, at least I can get cookies, you know. At some point it's smart. If, you know, maybe Denise had like another 10 minutes in her and Kim had 5 seconds, then you might as well get cookies, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
The jury seems like they're giving her shit for it, though.
Yeah. And so Tony wins 3 immunities in a row. I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean,
that's another reason that I feel like Nick was in on it, because I feel like Nick is with Tony. And dropping for him wasn't as much of a loss as he played it up to be.
Oh, okay. That would make sense. But yeah, I mean, if I was out there in Nick's position, I would kind of see the writing on the wall, and I would be like, yeah, I don't stand any chance of winning this season. I'm gonna play with Tony because that'll just be fun. Yeah. That's probably what I would do too.
That might be what I would do.
Yeah. At a certain point, Nick has to realize, like, well, he gets confessionals like, I'm thinking about my end game. I'm gonna put my alliance together and my final 3. You know.
I mean, that is a good final 3 for him. He would stand a shot, I think, with those 2.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to get there?
He shouldn't stand.
It just seems like Michelle and. Sorry, go say again.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I don't get why Denise is being ignored. She's a beast.
I don't either.
She's winning challenges. She took out the queen. I mean,
in a boss
move, like a gangster move, like very evil almost.
Like a kiss him on the face and then kill you mafia type.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was. Yeah,
crazy.
But she gets no respect.
No respect, man. I don't understand it.
She will.
But I mean, it's good. It's good for her long run. Yeah, because she can be ignored and make it all the way to the end.
She has done very well so far.
Anything from the scramble you want to talk about? I mean,
barely remember it.
Yeah, I mean, these scrambles, if you don't write down it, I didn't write down any notes on the scramble this time. If you don't write down everything that happened, you can't even remember it all because it's such a blur, you know.
I love how, I mean, I don't love, I'm saying that sarcastically right now.
Yeah.
But so one of the reasons Ben would get mad at Adam was because he would blab stuff. Why did Ben blab to Tony?
I guess they are working together.
I'm lost on where Ben sat on this vote. I want to believe that he was bamboozled, but I'm not sure that he was.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'll have to see the votes.
I really don't think he was receptive to getting Kim out. I don't think he was receptive to getting anyone but Jeremy out. And I think he had this plan where maybe he was voting for Kim, but he still thought Jeremy was going to get voted out. I don't really know. But
no, I think you're exactly right. He 100% wanted Jeremy, and he wanted strong arm this vote. He wanted to get his way. Like, he was gonna have Jeremy or nobody else, you know. So I think that's why.
He doesn't have that finesse. He doesn't have that finesse.
Nope. He tried to strong arm it. I know you hate Ben, but it was funny when he carried Tony off like in his arms like a baby.
I can't imagine you can carry Tony that easily. He must be a small man.
Well, he's short. He's a short man, but he's kind of he's got some muscly weight on him, so I think he'd be heavy still. But Ben looks like a pretty strong dude, to be honest. Big, tall, strong guy.
Big, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got. Do you got anything else?
Oh yeah. What else was there? I mean, there was a lot, but a lot of it came down to the scramble that I just didn't understand. So I don't really know what to say about it other than I like when they release those voting videos so you can see who voted for who. Did you watch the voting video from last week?
I think I did, but I mean, I don't even remember now. It was 4-3-2, right?
The last vote they showed was Jeremy, and he does this whole like because they don't show what they say. They just have a slow-mo of everybody holding up their vote. So Jeremy was just like, he was the last one. Oh, it was really funny.
Who did Jeremy vote for again last week?
Sophie,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he was excited to be involved in the blind side.
Right. Who you got for MVP this week?
I don't really know. I mean, it seemed. I don't want to give it to Tony again,
I
but
know.
it kind of seemed like Ben told Tony that Kim was saying his name, and he pulled off a Kim vote. I mean, how can you not give it to him?
He's running the show. I mean, one of us has to give it to Tony. I think you and I can
keep giving it to him until he screws up.
I think you and I can agree we each have a vote, so we'll give one to Tony and give one to Jeremy. Because Jeremy, we talked about it. He kept that advantage. But he really should have played it, but he didn't have to. He should not still be there. He shouldn't still be there.
Yeah. But one person in the Jeremy-Ben duo attempted to put aside the differences and sit and talk to someone they hate because they suck. And that person was Jeremy.
Yeah. Yep. Because he gets what a real social game is all about.
Hello. He won by playing a social game. You won by finding idols. The end. And a stupid end of the game twist. Still not over it. Devin Pinto was robbed.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Oh, beautiful man.
Beautiful
man. What's next? What else next week? Predictions?
For next week.
Yeah, there you go.
2 people go home next week, so who do you think will be the 2 unlucky souls?
Oh, goodness. Probably Tony, right? I mean, he's only got 1 idol. He can't keep winning immunity. 2 votes. Tony's
he
one.
He wins 1 immunity next week, though.
Yeah, that's
for the whole episode.
I'm gonna say Tony's time is up, man. But I mean, that's what's so funny. I wanted to mention this too. I'm glad I remembered it. That in his first season, Cagayan, this is exactly the same thing. we were saying the only difference was back then we kind of like disliked Tony. We
did.
We were like, I hate that guy. Don't worry, he's going home soon. Don't worry, he's going home next week. He's going home next week, and he never went home.
Yeah. And it's happening again.
But it's happening again, and this time we know what Tony's all about, and we're rooting for it and cheering for him. And so that would be really cool to have him win while we're actually cheering for him. Yeah.
It's funny, if you don't get him where you get him at Game Changers.
No,
it might be too late.
It's game over, yeah. Because
it's funny. I rewatched part of Cagayan recently, and I remember cheering for Spencer and hating Tony. And then this time, I hated Spencer and I was cheering for Tony. It was so weird.
That is the weird thing about Survivor is your perspective changes over time, and also like who you are as a person. Like different people cheer for different people based on their perspective,
Yeah.
That's what's so weird about Survivor. Like nobody sees it the same way,
Right.
I mean, not nobody sees it. You know what I'm saying?
You don't see it the same way all the way through either. Like if I were to go back and watch All Stars right now, and I haven't done it in a long time, but I remember hating Boston Rob and being so mad about what he did to Lex. But now I'm like, Lex, you dumbass. Like, of course.
Yeah, Lex was kind of a bitch about it.
I was casual back then. Now I respect the game and understand the game, but also just older, hopefully wiser. I don't know, but
Yeah, I think I just brought this up a couple episodes again, but it was the same thing with Sophie in South Pacific. Like, that was my first season I ever watched. That was my first Survivor season, and so I was like bummed that Ozzy didn't win, and I was like, who the hell is Sophie? I didn't even notice her the whole game. I had no idea what strategy was. Like I had no idea what I was watching at that point.
Yeah, and it's so easy for us super fans to get so mad at the casuals and call them dumb, but there really are different levels of how you take in a show like this.
Right,
and it's really easy to surface level love some people.
Yeah.
And really easy to hate the super gamers. And there's probably casuals out there right now who probably hate Tony. I don't know, but I don't know how you can hate Tony right now. But
yeah. It took me a couple seasons.
All the years of...
Took me a couple seasons of Survivor just to wrap my head around what the game was really all about, like what it was to the whole alliance numbers strategy thing. Like I didn't get it right away. So yeah, I think we need to give the casuals some slack sometimes. Because
they're cheering for.
We were all there once. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess I will pick. I didn't make my picks, but I'm gonna pick either Ben or Sarah, or maybe Ben and Sarah. I think one of Tony or Sarah is gonna go home next week. I just feel like Tony's an unstoppable
he's on
object.
He's on
He's
the
a
tram.
rocket ship.
He's on the tram lines.
Yeah. So if one of them's gonna go home, I think it's gonna be Sarah, and then hopefully Ben also goes home somehow.
Sarah and Ben, that would be a freaking epic week of television.
Let's pray for it.
I would rejoice. Because, I mean, that means you got Tony, Jeremy, Denise all still in the game. I mean...
And Nick and Michelle, right? Yeah.
Man, yeah.
Crazy. That'd be all right.
That'd be a good 5. I could handle that.
Mm-hmm.
I could handle that. All right. Any comments? Nope. No comments. That's okay.
No more dislikes or...
Well, we got a like back, so I don't know if somebody
evened it out.
They either accidentally unliked or someone else liked. But
probably.
It's funny.
We'll never know.
Either way. It's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at TV is our real mom. Give us a thumbs up, a subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 13.
Oh boy, 2 hours. It's gonna be a later one.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.